Hey guys, Courier 6 here at the Kaladesh Express. As you can tell, I came here to the 42nd century to get you guys some information on Warhammer. Slight problem though, is Warhammer. It's pretty dangerous here, so we're actually going to head back to my office and we'll finish the video over there, okay? How's that sound? Sound good? Great. Goodness, I am glad to be back. I tell y'all, the 42nd century is a dangerous place, you guys. Yeah, if you haven't been there, I don't recommend it as a vacation spot, you know? I told this group of dudes I was talking to, the Scutari or something or another, that I was into computers, and they started measuring my body and holding up fake organs to my chest to see if they'd fit. Like, I don't know, man. Warhammer's not, I don't think Warhammer's for me. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe. It does help a lot. It really motivates me to want to jump back into near death for you. Alright, so what are we even talking about today? Today we're talking about Marneus Calgar, Inquisitor Greyfax, and Inquisitor Eisenhorn of Warhammer. I wanted to build a Warhammer deck for a while for the channel. I really like Universes Beyond, as I've said a million times, so I think this is a pretty nice fit for the channel. And with clues coming back in Murders of Karlov Manor, I think this might be a really good time to finally just dig down and build this deck for you guys. So I went ahead and put a list together. I've also got a bunch of lore, as I do for all these Universes Beyond videos, just explaining who these characters are so that you're better informed for when you want to go play these in your own commander group. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm pretty sure this intro is like a minute and a half long, so let's jump into the lore. And if you want to skip the lore, obviously, here's the time code for you. Marneus Calgar is the Ultramarines chapter master in the 41st century, and he is capable of feats that would make Urza, Caleb from Blood, and Doomguy blush. Okay, well, maybe not Doomguy. They are, in fact, basically on the same level. Think of Marneus Calgar as a Doomguy clone. I am sure that both the Doom and Warhammer fandom will not take massive offense to that statement. When I say Marneus Calgar is tough, I mean really tough. He has taken on the Tyranid leader, the Swarmlord, entire armies of Necrons alone, and has even slayed gods in his universe. He is really tough, but still a human with a very modest origin story. He was born and raised on a planet much like Earth and was a servant to the Imperium. His real name is Tacitus, but his best friend was named Calgar, and one day that friend died trying to protect Tacitus, and he took his friend's name to honor him, a practice which would eventually go on to be a tradition in the Imperium of Man. Anyway, lots of hijinks like the aforementioned god killing ensues, and we're left with a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude, leading the army that is the face of Warhammer. Equipped with a specially designed set of power armor made just for him and the gauntlets of Ultramar, an ancient pair of master-crafted power fists, I think this guy would give the Chosen One from Fallout 2 a run for his money. There's a lot more to Marneus Calgar, but there's no way in this video I can explain his entire history in one go. But you should have a general idea of who he is by now. He's the hero of a story in a world where heroes do not exist. Alright, so we're going to quickly go over Inquisitor Eisenhorn and Inquisitor Greyfax, and while I'm not going to focus on them too much as they're not the point of this deck, I do want to touch on them briefly because they're going to feature in our deck and they are Warhammer characters, so you might have questions about them too. Inquisitor Eisenhorn. Cherubel was a demon, also known as the Death of Worlds. This demon lived for millions of years and slaughtered presumably billions of lives. And Inquisitor Eisenhorn, on one of his missions, just kind of decided, I'd like to have that. And then he does. Eisenhorn is a member of the Imperium of Man who spends his time studying and weaponizing the demon against the enemies of the Imperium and fighting back against its demonic influence. Inquisitor Greyfax. She is a powerful and well-known Inquisitor whose name is spoken only in hushed tones within her order, as she has accomplished feats not dissimilar to Marneus Calgar himself. She lacks any sense of empathy and will execute you on sight if she deems you a heretic. She also has some amount of psychic power, and that gives her an unnatural psychic lie detector, which is an invaluable tool for an Inquisitor. She has an ancient power sword and a modified bolt gun crossbow hybrid. In short, she is basically Van Helsing, but you know, in the Alright, so as we begin this deck, we want to keep a goal in mind, and that is to produce tokens, and specifically clue tokens, because eventually we'll want to convert this deck into a more clue-oriented deck once Murders at Karlov Manor come out. Right now, our commander is Marneus Calgar, and even though Inquisitor Eisenhorn or Inquisitor Greyfax would be obviously better more thematic choices, I don't think anyone would argue against Marneus Calgar being the strongest, and right now we're just trying to make a functional deck with a clue theme in it. Eventually, when Murders at Carnival of Manor come out, like I've said, we'll be focusing that more in on the clues. For now, let's go ahead and read Marneus Calgar. Marneus Calgar is a 3/5 legendary creature, a Starday's warrior. He costs 2, a white, a blue, and a black, and he has 3 abilities. Double Strike, Master Tactician, whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card, and Chapter Master. Costs 6, and it says create 2 2/2 white, a Starday's warrior creature tokens with vigilance. So it's pretty obvious what Marneus Calgar wants to be doing, and that is just create a bunch of tokens and draw a bunch of cards. Clue tokens also draws cards, so it's going to be card draw on top of card draw. So we'll just need to have things to do with all that card draw, which we will inevitably be getting, and I think we should be good to go. Alright, our next category is going to be clue makers, and we have quite a few of them. We have them in basically every category in the deck, so let's jump into those. Alright, we'll begin with the cards that share the spotlight with Marneus Calgar, that being Inquisitor Eisenhorn and Inquisitor Greyfax. Now, I've said it before that I do believe Inquisitor Greyfax and Inquisitor Eisenhorn are better clue-based commanders, but until Murders at Carnival Manor come out, I want to stick with Calgar just because he's more well-rounded. We're going to keep Greyfax in mind though, because I do think she's going to ultimately be the commander when I do the part 2 to this video, because she just feels more thematically relevant. The problem is we just don't have the support right now. We hopefully will soon though. But these are going to be some of our more powerful clue makers. But besides them, we also have Will the Wise, Thraben Inspector, and Floodhound. And these guys are going to be some of our early game ways to get the ball rolling on our clue strategy. And then we have cards like Erdwall Illuminator, Eloise Nephalia Sleuth, and Daring Sleuth to get us even more clues. Daring Sleuth through natural gameplay is going to eventually become Bearer of Overwhelming Truths, which is going to be really good so we can be a little aggro but still progress our game plan. And that does it for the creatures that make us clues directly. But then we have the enchantments, Trail of Evidence, Thorough Investigation, and Search the Premises. And these, not unlike Bearer of Overwhelming Truths, allow us to play a normal game of Commander, but still make clues so we progress our game plan. Then I've got 3 miscellaneous clue makers, those being Disorder in the Court, Tamiyo's Journal, and Hawkett's National Library. Disorder in the Court's a pretty good one. It allows you to dodge removal spells or retrieve creatures your opponents have stolen from you. Tamiyo's Journal is pretty good because it lets you investigate, but it also eventually just becomes a demonic tutor, and Hawkins National Library is a card that lets you continuously investigate. Hawkins National Library will eventually become the... oh, whoops, hold on one second. There you go. Hawkins National Library will become the Upside Down. And this lets us recur something from our graveyard back to the battlefield just for free for doing the thing we're going to do. So along with the things that make us clue tokens, we're going to be running some things that make us just other kinds of tokens because we don't have the support for clues just yet. So we have 11 other token producers that just get us value on board and kind of keep our game plan going, let us draw cards with Marneus, things of that nature. As far as creatures go that produce us things other than, clue tokens, we got Prince Emerald the Fair, Rosie Cotton of the South Lane, Alinda and Azor, Myriel, Shield of Argive, Faramir, Prince of Ithilin, the Council of the Four, the Lease, Reverent Medium, the Ultramarines Honor Guard, and Monastery Mentor. Please excuse my pronunciation of any of the Lord of the Rings things. I have never seen Lord of the Rings. I know that makes me a fake nerd, but the all-star from this category is absolutely Prince Emerald the Fair. Whenever you trigger your commander once, he then draws you a card, and then Prince Emerald will trigger creating a guy, which will trigger your commander drawing you a card. It's really good, and it's a really easy way to start that cycle off of just getting things going. Plus, when you crack a clue, it also triggers Prince Emerald. It's pretty decent. As far as our non-creature token producers, we got Power Depot, Master Guide's Mural, and Thopter Spy Network. Alright, now that we have all these tokens, we definitely need a way to just pay off having all of these tokens. I mean, having a bunch of clues aren't just going to win us the game. So, what are we going to do with all the tokens we've got? Urza time. Yes, my friends, we are using all 3 relevant Urzas, that being Urza, Lord Protector, Urza, Chief Artificer, and Urza, Lord High Artificer. Not only are these guys just incidentally good with all the clues we're making by giving us value off of them, but we get to run the Mightstone and Weakstone so we can eventually make Urza Planeswalker. And yes, while Urza Planeswalker is not necessarily part of our main goal of making a bunch of clues and doing things with them,
it's fun and good.
So they're going to stay for the time being, at least until we get better clue support in the next set. But we do have more payoffs besides just Urza, that being 500-Year Diary, Inspiring Statuary, and Mirkwood Bats. 500-Year Diary, by the way, being one of the big reasons I even wanted to build this deck, because it's literally Tolarian Academy for clues, which is just wild to me, honestly. And finally, we have a couple of utility pieces for the deck, that being Tezzeret, Betrayer of Flesh, Omenhawker, Sheoldred the Apocalypse, Mystic Remora, Rise and Shine, Kaya Geist Hunter, and Osier Tak Deepest Foundation. We also run Academy Manufactor because, I mean, literally a token deck that makes any of the 3 tokens should probably be running Academy Manufactor. Sorry for the lighting difference here, by the way. I was using natural light for my set today because I didn't feel like pointing out the lights, and the sun keeps going in and out because it's super overcast here. I don't know what to tell you. It's Georgia, man. It sucks, but it's what we gotta do. Regardless of all that, we have 2 categories left to talk about. I'm just going to knock them out both at once. It's going to be our ramp category and our interaction category. And they are important, but they're not super glamorous, so I'm going to kind of go through them fast. Just know we're running a lot of ramp, a lot of interaction. We just want to stay viable throughout the game as long as we can. So let's get into it. So, ramp. We've got the usual suspects: Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone. We're also running all 3 relevant talismans. And we're running all 3 relevant mirror. In addition to that, we're running Mana Vault, Fabrication Foundry, and Palladium Mirror. And that does it for our ramp. And next, let's talk about removal. And some of this is going to look familiar if you watched my Linda video last week. We've got Path to Exile, Absorb, Dovin's Veto, Supreme Verdict, Force of Negation, Permission Denied, Mana Drain, Swords to Plowshares, Counterspell, Meathook Massacre, Cyclonic Rift, Deny the Witch, and Fateful Absence. And yeah, this is a relatively standard removal suite for an Esper deck. We're not really trying to cause waves here. I'm hoping that there's more clue-based removal or something that cares about the fact that we have clues that we can use in the next set, but right now we're just playing a straight Esper control package. As far as lands go, I'm not running anything spectacularly interesting other than the ones I've already mentioned in the other parts of the video. It's a completely basic Esper land package, you know, your Shock Land, your Tri-Land, your Command Tower. Just make sure you lean heavier in white and blue than black and run as many of the duels and tries as you can. As far as the exact count for all the lands goes, it'll be in the description with the rest of the deck, so you can try to match this as best you can. But again, don't stress if you can't afford all of the fancy lands. It's not what it's about, right? You can upgrade those over time, and just getting the deck and playing with it should be your goal here. And that's the Marneus Calgar EDH deck. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will be working on a part 2 to this once Murders of Karlov Manor come out, so stay tuned for that. I think there's going to be a lot of really good clue support in there based on what they've shown us, and I think this deck could be really powerful. If you haven't picked up any of the staples for this, like 500-Year Diary, I would recommend going and picking that up sooner rather than later. Once Murders of Karlov Manor come out, it's probably going to spike pretty high, so go ahead and do that now. And again, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it, and share it with your friends and all the other YouTuber related things they ask you to do. But otherwise, I am Courier 6 of the Kaladesh Express, and I hope you have a great day. Whoa, that's the mic.